safest therapeutically active substance known to man. In 1996, California voters passed Proposition 215, which allowed for medicinal marijuana in that state. Since then, 12 other states, including Vermont, Maine, and Rhode Island, have enacted medicinal marijuana legislation. It is up to what we need to do is we need the legislature to put together a responsible and viable medical marijuana policy for Massachusetts. Otherwise, the voters will do it themselves through initiative. There will be a decriminalization initiative in the 2008 ballot. I suspect that will pass. Medicinal marijuana has even more support, more than 80% support amongst the general public. That initiative, which will be funded by the same parties that are funding the current one, will also pass. So either the legislature takes a proactive stance or be subject to somebody else's will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Nicely done.
The last and final piece of evidence I have is a little pamphlet book called The Hemp Manifesto, 101 Ways That Hemp Can Save Our World by Roland Robinson, which also includes medical applications of cannabis. So this is what I have. Please let truth trump politics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stein.
Hello, I'm here to talk to you about what this bill would mean in my life as an ex-medical marijuana patient in California. I am 52 years old. I'm highly educated. I have a master's degree and a PhD. I work in a position of professional responsibility. And I have suffered from chronic pain since I was 29 years old. I also suffer from accompanying depression and nausea that accompany the pain. I remember that there was a time when I was pain-free, but I no longer recall what that feels like. What I can remember is the huge relief of after years and years of trying to find some kind of therapy that worked when my doctor at a Kaiser Permanente HMO facility in Northern California, in desperation because we'd gone through everything we could and side effects of everything were so debilitating, he took his prescription pad out and wrote me a recommendation for medical marijuana. He apologized for not knowing where I could get this prescription or recommendation filled. But he told me that there are two main strains of cannabis and I needed to avoid indicas because of my depression. He also told me he wanted to continue seeing me on a regular basis to supervise my care. So when he told me I needed to find the dispensary on my own, I didn't know what to do. So I went online, and after a bit of research, I found a facility in my own town. I had driven past it many times without even realizing that it was there. And the staff was so helpful and knowledgeable and scrupulous in checking IDs and in checking the validity of the prescriptions of the patients. With the help of the dispensary staff and under the continuing supervision of my doctor at Kaiser, I experimented until I found the amount and types of marijuana that would help me cope with chronic pain, increase my range of motion, and lift my depression. I was always very responsible in my youth. I was teaching university at the time. I never drove or went to work under the influence of my prescription medication. Like any other prescription medication, marijuana has side effects, but I found them livable, and the benefit that I derived made everything worth it. Now, here I am in Massachusetts. I have lived here a year and a half without access to my preferred medication, and for the first time in 7 years, I once again had to get this pain out of the closet to use to walk with. I realize I have the option of purchasing marijuana illegally. I don't want to do that. I don't want to break the law. I don't even know how to go about finding illegal black market marijuana, and I'm sure that even if I did, it'd be someplace I wouldn't want to be. Moreover, I don't want to spend my money supporting an illegal underground economy which may have ties with gangs and other criminal activities. In California, my dispensary obtained its plants from registered gardeners growing locally in small amounts exclusively for medical use.
Ms. Elder, if you can, sum up. I don't mean to cut you too short.
Yes, but I'm almost done.
Okay.
I know this bill is about serious diseases. Whether or not arthritis, fibromyalgia, and depression qualify as serious disease probably depends on whether or not you suffer from it. I don't have a terminal illness. I don't had cancer. I'm not suffering from the effects of chemotherapy and radiation. I'm not dying, and I can live without marijuana. And God willing, I have a lot of life left to live, but don't make me live it like this. The decision of which therapy I should choose with my doctor should be a medical one, not a political one. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Sure, Matt.
My son suffers from Crohn's disease, like we heard from Katie earlier today. He was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 13, and he had a lot of problems that were described earlier in terms of bathrooms and things. He said when he was first diagnosed, he was in the hospital for 23 days. He couldn't eat for 10 days. He had intravenous feeding. He's had several surgeries since then. 2 summers ago, he used to weigh about 150. He was down to about 114 before his surgery. And today, he lives in California, and he weighs about 135, but he needs marijuana to increase his appetite. As we hear sometimes with people who have malnutrition, they stop eating. And the same thing can happen with something like him, but he has to gear his life around his eating and where he can go to the bathroom afterwards. And marijuana has helped him in these kind of situation where he can, when he does want to eat, he can smoke marijuana and his appetite is increased. Several of the drugs that are recommended for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis have very serious side effects, like prednisone, which is a steroid which can do severe damage to your internal organs for taking it for a long period of time. Where marijuana does not really have any of these kind of side effects. It's been recommended by the federal government's strict prohibitionist position is opposed by the American Public Health Association, the Federation of American Scientists, the Physicians Association for AIDS Care, the Lymphoma Federation of America, and former U.S. Surgeon General Justin Elders. I think the history of marijuana has proven to help people with Crohn's disease as many other illnesses and support.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming in today. You make some very strong points, and by the way, this issue is not to be dismissed. It's easy to dismiss it as an illegal drug or not. I don't do that. I know there are very powerful stories like yours, Ms. Elder, that people are suffering and really cry out for the need for this. So I'm not simply dismissive of this because marijuana is prohibited federally. But my question, you've cited some medical, endorsements, which some I would expect. The Public Health Association, I didn't expect necessarily. But the American Medical Association has objected to the medicinal use of marijuana in this fashion.
But in 1937, they did testify in favor of keeping.
1937. Yes. But right now, they haven't been able to get. I don't mean that it's completely damning to the issue, but the AMA has not been in support of the medicinal use at this point, right?
My daughter in California was a member of the AMA, and he described your recommendation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and your thank you, Ms. Elder.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynn Lambert. I work with the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts, and we have long supported this proposal. I'm glad to see it back again this session, and we hope that you can move on favorably.
Just take a look around. It's glowing everywhere. Cockroach craft, seventh sight. Cockroach craft in my oven. Cockroach craft illegally. Cockroach craft for you and me. Cockroach craft since Genesis. Cockroach craft make common sense. Cockroach craft is nothing new. Cockroach craft, so can you. Cockroach